All right, here we are, live from New York City, DevOps Days Day 2, and I'm here with Mike Baukes. Mike, how are you?
Awesome, thanks.
So now, you are the founder of a company called ScriptRock.
Yep.
And what do you all do?
We've basically built a platform that allows you to be able to compare, scan, compare, and difference configurations of servers, network devices, and mobile devices across multiple platforms for multiple environments, so that at any point in time you know exactly the state of your systems and your environment, so you can make decisions on that.
Right, and so very DevOpsy, which makes sense for you to be here.
Yep.
And now, yesterday you were one of the first speakers, and you talked about, not about your company, but a company you worked with before in Australia,
Yep.
and some of the hard lessons you learned. So maybe you could tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, okay. So the organization was a trading firm. They were undergoing a fairly large change at the time, and I was brought in with a group of people effectively to put in some form of continuous delivery and continuous integration with a real focus on their environments. Prior to that, they'd accepted the project, and they just had this really tight time frame to deliver, and it was basically as part of the assessment of that project and their capability to deliver, they kind of realized that they had this gap. So as a result of that, we went in there and proposed a few scenarios that they could choose from, and we funded a project based on the risk profile of the organization, which basically was about remediating the environments. A couple of key points kind of happened. We created a DevOps / environments team, which was a great team to create, but throughout, as a result of that, to some degree, we created flow problems for people doing work, and as a result of that, we kind of alienated several of the other teams, and this is a significantly large organization. So the security groups, the QA groups, the development groups, the app support groups, the production support, infrastructure. So you've got all of these teams kind of competing to deliver requirements for this project, and we mistakenly created a team that created a significant bottleneck for that organization at that time. As part of that, we rolled out a series of automation processes in order to stand up the environments very quickly, so that you get this ability to be able to tear down an environment, fully build one within in a couple of hours versus the 12 to 14 month cycle that had usually taken them to do that. Whilst we achieved the goals set out as a result of that particular project, we met the market demand in the end, and the result. The real problem became a cultural issue. All of the automation technology that we'd put in and all of the componentry around that was actually, post the project, was actually put to the wayside because there was a whole host of technical complexities with it. There was a cultural push that resulted in them not really feeling as though they had enough understanding about how the platform was written, and there was some serious not misgivings, but there was some serious problems for a lot of the organisation in the IT group to actually pick up the skills required. And I think from our perspective, whilst we met the goals of the project, we didn't really do enough on the education and the cultural aspect, which is what the talk was effectively about. So the learnings that I had was that, and as the team collectively kind of learned, was that DevOps, calling things DevOps, it doesn't really work. It really starts at the grassroots level, getting communication and getting everyone to buy in and sit at the table. It's not about the technical tools. Half the time it's not even about the processes. It's really about how you incentivize a culture to grow, in a traditional legacy environment. And we learnt a lot of amazing lessons as a result of that. And yeah, so after that, we basically formed a company to try and solve the problem en masse in a fashion that made it really accessible for other people.
So if you were to do it again,
it's a lot of words, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So if you were to do it again,
Yep.
do you think you would be able, given that exact same company, would you have set your sights smaller as well? Given the culture that they had and the culture you were trying to inject,
Yep.
would you have ratcheted down, or do you think you could have, if you did a better job selling and explaining it, it could have worked out?
I think we did a really good job. So this is an interesting thing. So I think we did a really good job of getting the message out to the management hierarchy in the organization about what we were doing and what we were setting out to achieve. So we got certainly a lot of buy-in at that level. unfortunately, you know, at the grassroots level, there were some challenges there. If we were to do it again, I probably, instead of, you know, spending, you know, a month or so trying to educate everyone about what we were doing and formulate with them how we were going, I probably would have sat back and given them, number one, a copy of the Phoenix Project, number two, a copy of Jez Humbolt's Continuous Delivery book, and really started it there. I think, like, fundamentally for that organisation, we met the goals of that project and we succeeded in it. The problem was that we didn't affect lasting change, and I think that those lessons around collaboration, communication, and, you know, empathy towards, you know, what other people and other teams are kind of experiencing as part of their, you know, career as IT professionals trying to deliver to the business requirements is something that often you know, you overlook when you're trying to put a project in, and I think that should really be brought to the forefront. That's how I'd approach it probably if I do that again.
Excellent. Mike Baukes, thank you so much.
Thank you.